Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And so today I am going to be talking about the Pixel 8a up against the Pixel 9a, and if you should upgrade from the 8a to the 9a, and really just, my experiences with both of these two devices. So, but before I get into that, if you guys could do me a solid, smash the like button. I would truly appreciate it. It only takes a couple of seconds. So click, you're done. And there, you've just liked the video. Appreciate that. Share it on your favorite social platforms, and as well as turning on bell notifications so you don't miss a video upload. And check my description for promos and referral links for Google Fi, US Mobile. Pretty much getting the formalities out of the way. Let's talk Pixel 8a. Let's talk Pixel 9a, because these are two really good phones and they are not that far apart in range of things. Okay, so first things first. The build design obviously is going to be different. You get the camera visor bar right there. I don't know why I was going to say camera. Like, this weird accent just came upon me. Like, ooh. But anyways, camera visor on the Pixel 8a, none on the Pixel 9a. And really, that's a subjective thing. Do you really like this? Or do you like this? Is either one fine? Do you not care? I'm somebody who really doesn't care too much about the design of a phone to those little aspects, okay? As long as the phone looks good to me. Both of them are pretty minimal, with the 9a being the most minimal of the two designs. But I mean, that's that. You got the box, whatever you want to call it, is iPhone-ish. I mean, well, yeah, I guess. But there are other devices out there that had this design before iPhone, so just saying. But this has the modern day industrial, what they're calling it, the industrial look. It's just a box, a rectangle box. Where you look at the Pixel 8a, and it kind of slightly has, almost flat sides to it. It's rounded, right? So it's not, sharp at the edges compared to the box design of the Pixel 9a. So, yeah. When looking at both of these, you look at the camera sensors, you definitely can see there is a slight difference. Slight difference. Nothing major. However, the Pixel 8a's cameras is a 64 megapixel shooter, same found in the Pixel 7a. You got a 48 megapixel on the Pixel 9a. But to be honest with everybody, it's not about like how much megapixels a camera has. That's part of the battle when it comes to photography. And I will go more in depth on my photography channel between these two devices. Sometime here soon, I'll post the link to the video from the photography channel on the timeline for this channel once that video is live. I really want to take these two out to Encanto Park in my area and do some photography tests between the two, and then just do like a match up photo for photo type thing. Wow, I can't even talk today. What's wrong with me? Somebody hit me over the head with a frying pan. Anyhow, so yeah, when it comes to cameras, I'll just do like a one photo test off thing. So let's take a picture of Psyduck here. Psyduck looks pretty cool. I'm gonna, got my grids up, gonna tap the focus, snap that photo, and that photo is good. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing with my Pixel 9a, and I'm gonna tap on Psyduck, snap my photo, everything looks good. And yeah, so that's Psyduck on the Pixel 9a. And that is Psyduck on the Pixel 8a. But you guys, I'll put these photos side by side right here on the display, and now it's there for you guys to look at. You guys can tell me which one did better. I'll leave that up to you guys to judge that. Post your thoughts in the comments. All right. So aside from camera, one of the things that I will tell you guys about is that the user experience is going to be pretty much similar, right? It's a Pixel, right? You got the Pixel 8a, and it's rocking Android 16 Beta 4. You get the Pixel 9a, and it's rocking Android 16 Beta 4. So they have the same software on it, and pretty much everything is going to be the same when you are going through apps, swiping over to the Google feed. I mean, it just pretty much yields very similar results. For the display, both of them can do 120 hertz refresh. So if you're somebody who's really hung up on the refresh of how smooth it scrolls, both of them can do 120 hertz refresh. One of the big key differences here is battery. Now the Pixel 8a's battery is pretty solid for what it is. and I get a day worth of battery from the Pixel 8a. But the crazy thing is, excuse me, the crazy thing is that from 100% taken off charge, you know, say at 6 in the morning, by the end of my day, the Pixel 8a will be like at like 27% battery life remaining. With the same amount of usage and the same amount of time on the Pixel 9a, and I end the day with 59% battery. Okay, so half the battery capacity in a whole day's usage. And I'm talking about, I'm not recording content, I'm not editing videos on the device. I'm talking about, I'm just using it for social media. I'm just watching YouTube and TikTok and Clapper. You know, I'm on Instagram and I'm just checking out people's photos and liking it and chatting with my friends on DM. You know, I am making phone calls, I am texting my wife, texting my kids, that type of usage. And I'm down to 59% by end of day with Pixel 9a and 29% with the Pixel 8a. So battery on both of these are gonna be pretty good, but you're gonna get a much longer battery life with the Pixel 9a than the 8a, okay? Both still have, like, you know, the same subtle features, right? You know, the no ultrasonic fingerprint sensor on either one of these, like I said. They use the optical fingerprint sensor, and they're pretty decent. You know, they're not as fast as ultrasonic, but they are still fast. I mean, I put my thumb on it and it'll unlock. They both have face unlock too as well with the cameras. Not the same type of face unlock that you'll get with the Pixel 4 XL, but it's very close to it. It's actually secure enough to use as biometric security. So you have that with both the Pixel 8a and the Pixel 9a. Then the audios on them are pretty good. The audios, I mean, they both got, you know, speaker at the bottom, speaker at the top. And when you listen to music, audios from video playback and stuff like that, they do just fine. So there's no real big issues there at all whatsoever. Both have NFC tap to pay. So you can use this with Google Wallet and just kind of tap to pay things. You can do that with the Pixel 9a. Really, when it comes down to these two devices, the main thing between them is going to be, one, battery, okay, and software support. Both get 7 years of software upgrades. However, the Pixel 8a is going to cut off a year before the Pixel 9a, because obviously it was released a year before the Pixel 9a. So, which is kind of crazy because people are like, well, you know, the Pixel 9a launched with Android 15. So will that be something that, you know, will happen with that it'll get the same amount of time as the 8a? And it's like, no, it came out a year after the 8a, so it's going to get one more software upgrade than the Pixel 8a will. But you know what, by then, I'm sure most people that are using either of these two devices as daily drivers are going to end up on something else by when that time comes, okay? That is 6 to 7 years from now. That's 2031. Okay, I don't think anyone's going to be on these devices in 2031, especially if mobile tech seems to continue to grow the way that it's growing. There's going to be some like cool tech and cool features by 2031 that these two phones are going to be too obsolete to even support. I'm just saying, it is what it is. So, you know, should you upgrade from the Pixel 8a to the Pixel 9a? And my thing is that if you have to have the newest A series device, well, then of course you're going to upgrade to the Pixel 9a. But if you're really basing it off of, is there anything that the Pixel 9a has that the Pixel 8a doesn't have that you kind of, and you know, must have situation type thing? The answer to that question is no. A lot of what the 9a can do, the 8a can do. There are certain things that you will get with the 9a, like with the cameras and the AI, like, you know, where you can add yourself into the photo. The 9a has that, the 8a doesn't have that. You know, there's other subtle AI features the 9a has that the 8a doesn't have or doesn't use. And that's really where the battlefront is today on AI. So that's really where it's going to then start to show the differences between these two devices. But just based on Android, based on the cameras, based on audios, based on hardware, based on software optimization, they're both pretty much on that same level. So if you don't want to spend $499 for the Pixel 9a, and you don't have the Pixel 8a, you can find this thing anywhere between $250 to $300. Then a safe bet to save some money and just get the Pixel 8a. That's really how I think about all this when it comes to the user experience and just the overall differences and similarities.